Senator Rand Paul is one of the Republicans calling now for the aid to be contingent on help with investigations into these deadly riots. Senator, welcome back to the program. And your thoughts now on exactly what we need to do.
Well, I think these events bring to light that we need to have a debate in our country about whether we should send U.S. taxpayer money to countries that cannot or will not protect our embassies. And I personally think that until we can be assured that they can protect our embassies and will, we shouldn't send them another penny. Until the assassins are captured and brought to justice in Libya, they shouldn't get another dime. I'm also for holding up the money to Pakistan as long as they hold the doctor that gave us information that led to us getting bin Laden. So really, we need to reassess what we're doing with foreign aid, particularly when we really don't have the money. We're borrowing the money to China to send it to Pakistan and Egypt.
But is there a distinction between those three countries? I mean, Pakistan, we know, is harboring bin Laden. We know, to some extent, they've been working against us and helping some of the terrorists who hate us. But, Egypt, up until recently, was an ally. The president says it's not anymore, but it's not an enemy either. And now they have a Muslim Brotherhood candidate in the presidency. And Libya, Libya is really in a transitional state.
My concern about Egypt is that the news reports are that they called our embassy and said, hey, the mob's coming, but they did nothing to protect our embassy. If you know a mob is coming, and there have been mobs and riots in Cairo, there should be thousands of soldiers there to protect our embassy. There should be tanks there to protect our embassy. But none of that came. A phone call came and they said, guess what? You're on your own. The mob's on its way over. That's inexcusable. And we send Egypt a couple of $2 billion a year. It's inexcusable that they do not defend our embassy.
The thought by some is that if we withdraw that aid, it will only make the situation worse. And you've heard this with respect to Pakistan in particular, that even though it hurts to give that much money to a group of people, many of whom clearly hate the United States and everything we stand for, the alternative is even worse, that there'll be more of a backlash if we take the aid away.
Well, you need to look at history and see where that foreign aid went. A lot of it went to Mubarak and his palaces and his children and their palaces. All throughout Africa, the money that we've sent over there has been stolen by the leaders. None of it ever gets to ordinary average citizens. It's counterproductive. And then sometimes they buy weapons. All the weapons that Mubarak bought with U.S. money, they're now in the hands of the Muslim Brotherhood. I think there potentially is a problem with that. So I wouldn't give them any more money to buy any more weapons till we know that there's going to be stability over there. And for goodness sakes, they have to at least be able to defend our embassy.
Senator, we're going to get into this with our next couple of guests, but I want to ask you, given your policies and those of your dad, Congressman Ron Paul, it seems like some of these radical Islamists, they just hate America no matter what we do. And it doesn't matter whether you have President Bush in office, President Clinton, President Obama. They hate the United States of America and our ideals. Is there any way through or around that?
I think it's a complicated long-term strategy with figuring it out. We have to defend our country against people who hate us no matter what. We can also look at policy to try to bring peace to the region. I don't think paying for peace works, though, and I don't think you can buy your friends. Most of the time the money is stolen and corrupted, so I'm not for giving any more taxpayer money. Plus, we're broke. We don't have it. We're $1 trillion in the hole, borrowing $50,000 a second. We don't have the money to send to them.
Senator Rand Paul, thank you, sir. Good to see you. Well, there are also questions today.